human rights, but the LGBTQ standpoint. Many people have had, racial slurs like occurred to them, but also being gay or trans or a lesbian is a big issue too. Not many of us may be educated on it. We just know the standpoints of, being judged, not being accepted. But it dives way deeper than a lot of us know. This is a global issue because, as the United States says, we're a safe haven and everyone's supposed to be treated as one. But lately, that's not true because we have 30 different human rights and we violate 2 of them. Article 1 is pretty much stating that we're allowed to be free. I mean, we're free, but we're still being judged. Article 5, no torture or cruel punishments. We still get, the torture of being bullied and not being accepted. So that's still an issue. There's a lot of slurs in the workforce. All 50 states are legal because we are able to get married. But the religious standpoint of it all is it's still a bad point and it's not supposed to be okay. But 46% of people hide themselves. They mask themselves inside, different ways of hiding. They don't want to be themselves. They'd rather hide than deal with anything. Country standpoint. Trans people will not be considered they've been considered mentally ill for a long, long time. But now that the World Health Organization is stating that this is a huge issue and people are ill, they try to classify people being gay as a stigma, that they're just there and it's a big issue. They've made progress in the past few years, but not much. There's still countries that have the death penalty for same-sex relationships. Minors aren't allowed to be together. But also they still use the prison method or death penalty against gay people. They will send people away. There's certain countries, as if you can see in this picture, it says, it's legal where all that green is, and then certain spots, like it's only for men, but it's only for women, or women are not, they don't know. But I chose to do Africa and Europe's laws. Africa's laws is like very widespread. The violence is really widespread, but also like religion is a huge role in this. But only 7 like little states out of it are protected out of all 54 countries. But that's not, from what I had found, that's not as accurate. Africa's laws are just not similar to Europe's. Europe's are similar to ours. Like, for example, they're allowed in every state but one. It's mostly equal. Marriage is legal. Europe's more lenient towards us than Africa is. Africa is a way different. They still believe in the prisons. They're mentally ill and such things like that. The policies in the United Nations policies, as I had stated before, in Article 1, our rights are not lived up to how they should be. We're not free completely. We still get harassed. We still just don't feel accepted all the time. Article 5 is violated often. The whole torturing and punishment. Obviously, it's violated in all of the countries. They still believe in death penalty in prison. But not only that, the slurs, the hate comments, just everything not being accepted. So out of all of those 30 rights, we violate 2 of them. But in different countries, they still use death penalty, which that shouldn't be used against us. One country is allowed for same-sex marriage. Africa is not protected by it whatsoever. And they don't, like, they try to end the discrimination of it, but it's a huge challenge, and it's a long process to try to end it because it's never ending. We can't ever change someone's minds, but we sure can try. But the response of what we've done so far, Trump banned soldiers due to their orientation, which wasn't a good thing, but it didn't pass through. Russia has laws of limits of education or support services to gay people where they possibly cannot get the education they desire, or if they were not only gay, they had mental health issues, they weren't able to get, they couldn't reach out for those help aspects. Most countries don't have the laws that protect the LGBTQ community, so if a person was to get harassed, they wouldn't get the help that they need. They banned gay propaganda, and no minors were able to express whom they are. They were not allowed to be the person that they were. They would constantly have to hide because of the judgments and issues. What role should the U.S. play? I believe that strongly that the United States should protect all of the LGBTQ men and women. We should be supported just as much as the straight men and women. We need to make sure our rights are seen and heard, and we'll be able to stand as one so we're not all fighting against each other. I believe we need to find that inner peace because we're all the same. We're all men and women. There's nothing different about us just because we have a different orientation or we have a different sexual preference. We shouldn't use that as a leeway to make fun of people. That's not how it should be. We should be bigger than that. We need to stand as one and just make sure everything's okay. We should make how the United States is supposed to be. We're supposed to stand as one, not all separate.